Hello and good morning. So we are today in Leetcode to be able to solve the problem of the product of an array except self. So what we're trying to achieve here is, so he said, given an integer array norms, return an array answer such that answer of this index position I is equal to the product of all the elements of norms except the numbers in I. What it's trying to achieve now, yes. So for this index position, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3 index positions, and it contains 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this index position 0, which contains 1, what we want to have here is all the multiplication, all the product of all the values in this norms array except 1, which means what we want to have here is 2 times 3 times 4, which gives us what? 24. So when we come here in this index position 1, which contains 2, it has to be the product of all the values except the value here, which is 2. So the value we want here is 1 times 3 times 4, which gives us 12. When we come at this position 3, what we want to have is 1 times 2 times 4 to give us 8. And at this index position, which contains 4, what we want to have is 1 times 2 times 3 to give us 6. So we are told in the question that the product of any prefix or suffix of numbers is guaranteed to be fit in a 32-bit integer, and the complexity we are going to use is time complexity of 0n. So we are going to run through the list of the array. So let's see how we are going to solve this problem using our knowledge of arrays and the manipulation of these indexes. Um, so So we are currently now at the VS Code. So I've already copied the input with numbers, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's going to give us this output, right? So if we have our inputs as this 1, 2, 3, 4, so we want to get this output. So then before that, we are going to create a new array that has the same length with this input, that will contain the values that we're going to return. So we populate this array with 1 so that it will be easy for us to make a multiplication. So we call this new array new, that has 1, and then the length of this new array will be nums. So what we basically have is 1 into 4 places, right? What we want to do now is we have a prefix, which is 1. This will be the accumulation of the products of each of the values in the array, and we populate it on the positions in the new array that we have. But because in the new array that we have, we want to skip the first value because we are told that it's not going to contain the first for each of the values that we have here. So whenever we come to this position, what what takes care of the skipping of this array is that you're going to multiply what we have in this new array, what we have in this new array with the current value of the prefix, which is 1, not necessarily the 1 that we have in this number, but this 1 here. And then after that, we will now multiply our prefix with the value that we have in the numbers array 1. So which means when we come to 2 here, what we are already multiplying to 2 is the 1 we've already gotten from the multiplication we have here. And then we add it here in this position here. And then the next line of the equation, we are going to multiply our prefix with 2. But look at what I mean here. We have for I in range of the length of numbers here. Our new value for this index position I will be our prefix. We multiply what we have in this index in our new value, the current value we have in the prefix, right? Then we will change the value of our prefix by multiplying it and adding to it what is in our numbers array at this index position. So what we have here is in this new array, once we make this function that runs this, what we have here is that we have one that is currently here. So what is going to be like is, let me show you what's going to be like. So we have this 1 to 1 1 1. When we come to this position, what we have here is this 1 that is currently in the new. We're going to multiply it with our prefix. And then assign it at this value new. So what we have here is new at this position 0 multiplied by the prefix we have here, which is 1. So we have 1 times 1, which is 1. We assign 1 here. We move over of our prefix now. Our prefix is now become the prefix times the value that is in the numbers here now. So remember, our numbers value here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we have here is our prefix will now be what we have in our prefix, which is 1, multiplied by the numbers value that we have here, 1. So our new prefix is 1. So now we move over to the next line. The next line should be this. At this position here, what we have is the value we have here already in the new array is 1. We multiply it by the prefix. Remember, our prefix is still 1. So 1 times 1 will give us 1. That is the new value we have here. Our prefix will now change. Look at when our prefix will now change. Our prefix will now be the value of a prefix, which we have 1, times the numbers value at this index position 1, which is what? 2. So our prefix changes from 1 and it becomes 2. So what will happen again here remember this is the new value, and then this is the numbers value. And I think we are maybe the second one, right? Then we are here, the second one. So when we now move to the third one here now, by extension, we also move here and the third one here. So what we have here is the new value here will now become what we have in this new value, 1 times the prefix. Our prefix is 2. So this thing changes to 2. And then our prefix now becomes the value we have in prefix times the value we have in the numbers of this at this position, which is now 3. So it's going to be 2 times 3. Our prefix changes to become 6. We move again by 1, then move again by 1 here. So when we come to this new value here now, the value we have here is now the new value times the value we have in the prefix, which is now 6. And then the prefix will now change, but we're only going to assign it here. It's going to be the value of the prefix times the numbers of at this value, which is 6 times 4, 24. We have run through the array. So the new value will now have 1, 1, 2, 6. Giving us that same idea we have that everything in this position will be all the values except the value that is here. So we have this 1 here. When we come to this position, it's going to be the one that we got here. When we come to this position, it's going to be 1 times 2, which is 2. When we come to this position, it's going to be 1 times 2 times 3, which is 6. We perform the same operation backwards also to be able to counter the effect of what we have. So if we perform this operation backwardly, what it means is that when we come here, we are going to skip 4 and then we move to this place. It will now become 4 times 2. Yes. 4 times the value that we have here, which will give us 8. If we come here, it's going to be 4 times 3. Remember, except the value that we have here, it's going to be 4 times 3, which is what? 12. And then when we come here, it's going to be 4 times 3 times 2, which is 24. So that is how the operation goes. So let us continue with it in the next one. So the next one is going to be suffix, which is 1. And then we have for I in range. Remember, we are going backwards. Length of the numbers minus 1. And then till 0 now. So it is shift by 1. So it's going to be minus 1. This minus 1 we have here means that it is in the reverse order. So we have the new. We perform the same operation that we had performed previously. It's going to be new times suffix now. And then our suffix will now be equal to numbers I. Let me show you what I mean by what we did here. So if we comment this thing out, for example now, and we run our new now. Our new now will give us what we got before, which is 1126. You see it, we got 1126. But if we now add this suffix now, considering the fact that our new was this, our numbers was this, we added both the prefix and the suffix now. It will now change to become 241286, which is what we wanted to get. 241286. So this algorithm solves the problem for all the finding of the product of all the values in the array except self. So this is what we're going to use in Leetcode for our solution. When we come here, we copy it and paste it here. Prefix 1. I have this. And then we run it. So it's going to return new. I think it's overpowered. Let's see what it's going to give us in our value. It's not defined. Oh, so new is going to be 1 times length of numbers. Forgot to add that. So it's accepted, and then we make the submission. It's loading. So it worked. So it's accepted. So this is the solution for the product of all the values except self in the Leetcode solution.